My name's Emma. I'm 26. And if you'd asked me a year ago who I trusted most in the world, I would have said my sister without thinking. Lily's only 18 months younger than me, but we were raised like twin same bedrooms, separated by a thin wall. Same mismatched hand-me-downs, same whispered jokes under the covers after lights out. If I was the anxious planner, she was the brave improviser. I held the flashlight. She walked into the dark room. Together, we made one whole person. When our parents divorced, we became each other's anchor. We learned how to make boxed mac and cheese on Tuesday nights and how to tiptoe around new stepper and rules. We could tell what the other was thinking by the way an eyebrow moved. If I ever got quiet, Lily would push a cup of tea into my hands and say, "Out with it." I'd do the same for her, sliding a bowl of popcorn across the couch and waiting until the words tumbled out. So when I met Noah, the man I would have sworn was the love of my life, I couldn't wait to fold him into our little circle. He was the sort of gentle that doesn't announce itself, the kind that shows up on moving day with tape and pizza and a power drill he somehow knows how to use. He listened when I talked about work, actually asked follow-up questions, and remembered the answers weeks later. He didn't flinch when I described how bad my social anxiety could get. He just squeezed my hand under the table and kept talking to the waiter until my voice came back. I brought him to family dinner on a Sunday, the way we always test new people. My mom set the table with the nice plates. Lily lit the candles like she was staging a scene. Noah offered to chop the salad and somehow did it right, which earned a surprised, approving look from Mom and a theatrical golf clap from Lily. I felt something in my chest unclench. Maybe this was how it would be from now on to people I loved, laughing across the table like they'd been doing it for years. We fell into rituals. Friday night takeout on the couch with a movie we'd inevitably pause to argue about. Saturday mornings at the farmer's market, Noah bargaining for flowers while I tried to pretend we didn't already have 3 vases at home. Sunday evenings at my mom's, Lily sprawled on the floor with a glass of wine. Noah and me shoulder to shoulder on the sofa, someone always reaching for a blanket against the draft. It was easy. And I wanted it to stay easy so much that I stopped noticing all the ways my life was changing shape to fit the picture I'd been carrying in my head since I was a kid. The picture with a partner who meant safe, a sister who meant home, a future that meant we. When Noah got a promotion, we celebrated with cupcakes and a playlist Lily made on the spot. When I landed a client I'd chased for months, Noah showed up outside my office with sunflowers because he remembered they were my dad's favorite. When Lily had a rough week, we drove to the beach at midnight and ate gas station ice cream in the wind. The 3 of us wrapped in one blanket like we were trying to protect a tiny campfire. People say you should be careful what you pray for because you might get it and realize it isn't what you thought. But I didn't think of any of that then. I thought I had a rare thing, love, that didn't make me smaller. Family that made everything bigger. A sister who could read my silences and a boyfriend who made those silences less frequent. I remember one night in particular, we were decorating my tiny apartment for Lily's birthday streamers, slightly crooked. A cake that came out of the pan with one stubborn corner missing. Noah was standing on a chair, wrestling with a balloon arch, and Lily was playing DJ, queuing up her favorite guilty pleasure songs. I took a picture. Noah grinning at the ceiling. Lily caught mid-laugh. Confetti already on the floor. I posted it with some silly caption about my people. It got a handful of likes from high school friends and my aunt, but I didn't care about any of that. I cared about the warmth in the room, the feeling that I could exhale and the walls would hold. If there were hairline cracks in the glass, I didn't see them. Why would I? You don't test the strength of something you trust. You lean on it. That's who we were then. A girl in love, her sister who knew all the versions of her, and a man who seemed to fit in the space between us without dislodging anything. It felt inevitable. It felt blessed. It felt like the beginning of the story I'd always hoped would be mine. I didn't know beginnings can look a lot like foreshadowing if you tilt your head and squint. I didn't know there are ways a laugh can linger a beat too long that you only recognize later. I didn't know yet that love and loyalty can pull in opposite directions and that sometimes the person you'd hand your heart to is standing right next to the person you already did. But I would soon, looking back now, I can see the signs. They weren't big, flashing neon betrayals. They were hairline fractures easy to ignore until you realize the whole thing is splintering. It started with inside jokes. One night, the 3 of us were watching a show together. I stepped out to grab popcorn, and when I came back, Lily and Noah were laughing so hard they could barely breathe. I asked what was funny, but they just looked at each other and shook their heads like it was a secret too small to explain. "Nothing," Lily said, still giggling. I brushed it off. Everyone gets along differently, I told myself. Isn't it good that my boyfriend and my sister like each other? Isn't that what I wanted? Then there were the little favors. Noah offering to drive Lily to the bookstore, even when it was out of his way. Lily asking Noah to fix something in her apartment instead of calling the landlord. Once, I came home early and found the two of them sitting on my couch with takeout containers. We figured you'd be late, so we just ordered something, Lily explained. Cheeks pink. It stung, but I laughed it off. Guess I'll grab leftovers then. They both insisted I join, but I couldn't shake the weird sense that I'd crashed a date I wasn't invited to. The phone habits came next. I'd noticed Lily's phone light up across the table, and she'd smile before tucking it face down. Sometimes Noah would step outside to take a call and come back with the same half smile. When I teased him, "Who's your secret girlfriend?" he laughed, but the laugh sounded guilty. Still, I didn't press. I didn't want to be the jealous girlfriend or the paranoid sister. The moment that really rattled me happened at a family barbecue. Noah was flipping burgers, and Lily stood beside him, swiping a finger across his cheek to wipe off sauce. He grinned and leaned toward her playfully, and for half a second, it looked like something else, something intimate. When her eyes met across the patio, Lily's smile faltered. She pulled her hand back too quickly, almost guilty. "Hey, Em," she said too brightly. "Want the first burger?" I nodded, but my appetite was gone. I confided in my best friend, Sophie, later. "Do you think it's weird how close they are?" She hesitated. "Close how?" I described the jokes, the favors, the glances. "Could just be that they click," she said carefully. "You've always wanted Noah to fit into your family, right?" "Yeah," I said, twisting my ring. I guess I got what I asked for, but her hesitation stuck with me. Things escalated in small but undeniable ways. One night, I borrowed Lily's jacket from the hall closet. When I slipped my hand into the pocket, I found a folded receipt from a cafe across town. 2 lattes, 2 muffins. Dated a weekday morning when Lily's should Fibonacci work and Noah had taken a late start. I told myself maybe they'd run into each other. Maybe it was coincident, but the coincidence sat heavy in my chest. The final straw of that chapter came during a stormy evening. Power flickered. Rain hammered the windows. Noah and I curled on the couch, trying to ignore the thunder, when his phone buzzed. He glanced at it, then set it down quickly, face down. "Who's that?" I asked. "Work stuff," he muttered. But when he went to the bathroom, curiosity got the better of me. I flipped the phone over. A preview line lit the screen. Can't stop thinking about last night. My stomach dropped. I didn't open. It didn't need to. The words alone carved a hollow in my chest. When Noah returned, I forced a smile, forced my voice to sound steady. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," he said, leaning down to kiss my forehead. Everything's fine, but it wasn't. I lay awake that night listening to the rain, every roll of thunder echoing the question in my head, was I losing my boyfriend or my sister? Or both? Suspicion is like background, noise you can ignore it for a while. But eventually it's the only thing you hear. By this point, I couldn't laugh off the inside jokes or brush away the coincidences. I needed to know if the ground I stood on was real, or if it was already gone. The first piece of evidence came from a friend, not me. Sophie pulled me aside one evening after yoga. Her face was pale, lips pressed together like she didn't want to say the words. "Emma," she whispered, "I don't want to hurt you, but I saw something last week." My pulse spiked. "What?" I was downtown and spotted Noah. He wasn't alone. Lily was with him. They were sitting way too close at a cafe. Like, close. And when he touched her hand, she didn't pull away. I laughed nervously, shaking my head. "You must have misread it. They're just comfortable with each other." But Sophie didn't budge. I know what I saw. Please, just be careful." Her warning felt like a stone dropped into my stomach. Days later, the second piece surfaced. I borrowed Lily's laptop to check an email while mine updated. As soon as I opened the browser, a message notification popped in the corner. The preview showed Noah's name. My breath froze. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Same place." I clicked before I could stop myself. The thread opened, line after line confirming my worst fears. "Last night was amazing. Wish we didn't have to sneak around. If she finds out, everything's over." My heart pounded so hard I thought I'd faint. I snapped the laptop shut, my hands trembling. It was real. I wasn't paranoid. It was happening under my nose with the two people I loved most. The third confirmation came like salt in the wound. A week later, I was folding laundry when I noticed Noah's hoodie smelled faintly of Lily's perfume, not mine, hers. The same floral scent that clung to her scarves and pillows. I buried my face in the fabric and almost screamed. I wanted so badly for there to be another explanation, but every piece fit together too perfectly. I confronted Lily not fully, but sideways. "Hey," I said casually one night, "have you been hanging out with Noah without me?" She froze. Just for a second, but I caught it. Then she forced a laugh. "Relax. He's practically my brother. You're being paranoid." Her tone was dismissive, but her eyes gave her away. I felt sick. The last straw was a photo I was never supposed to see. Noah left his phone on the counter while showering. A message popped up from Lily with an attachment. Against every moral instinct, I opened it. It was a selfie heard, grinning, his arms slung over her shoulder, his lips pressed against her hair. The caption read, "Can't wait till next time." I dropped the phone like it burned me. There it was. Evidence layered over suspicion, undeniable proof piled on top of broken trust. My sister, my boyfriend, together, and me. I was the fool caught in the middle, clinging to a version of reality they'd already destroyed. That night, I lay awake staring at the ceiling, the photos still etched in my mind. The betrayal wasn't just physical, it was emotional, intimate, secretive. They'd laughed at inside jokes while I sat next to them. They'd held hands in cafes I might have walked past. They'd stolen moments that should have been mine, and they'd done it together. I knew what I had to do. The next step wasn't about gathering more proof. It was about facing it, seeing it with my own eyes. Because once you see the truth, you can't unsee it. There are moments in life that split everything into before and after. For me, that moment came on an ordinary Tuesday evening. Noah had told me he was working late. Lily texted she was staying in with a headache. It was too neat to rehearse. And something inside me snapped. I grabbed my keys and drove to Lily's apartment. The hallway was quiet as I approached her door, my heart pounding so loudly it drowned out every other sound. I told myself I might be wrong, that maybe I'd barge in and find her actually curled on the couch with tea, alone, that maybe Noah really was at the office. But when I pressed my ear to the door, I heard laughter. His laugh. I pushed the door open. There they were, on her couch, side by side, too close, his hand resting on her thigh, her head tilted toward his shoulder. They both froze as the door swung open. The room went silent, except for the sound of my breathing ragged, sharp, unbelieving. For a moment, none of us moved. Then Lily scrambled upright, face pale, eyes wide. "Emma, don't!" I snapped, my voice breaking. Noah stood, guilt written all over him. "It's not what it looks like," I laughed. But the sound was hollow, hysterical. "Don't you dare say that line to me. I've seen the texts, the photos, her perfume on your clothes." His mouth open, but no words came out. Lily stepped forward, hands shaken. "I never wanted you to find out this way." "I find out what exactly?" I cut her off. "That my little sister, my best friend, the person I trusted most, has been sneaking around with the man I thought I'd marry." Tears welled in her eyes. "It just happened. My voice rose until it cracked. "You don't happen your way into weeks of lying, into secret cafes and hidden photos, into choosing each other over me. Noah tried again, Emma, please. It was a mistake. A mistake." I turned on him, shaking. Kissing her once might be a mistake, but this was deliberate, over and over again. You don't get to call that a mistake. You call it what it is, betrayal. For a long moment, none of us spoke. Lily's tears fell silently. Noah stared at the floor. Finally, I whispered, "How long?" Neither answered. "How long?" I demanded, louder this time. Lily's voice cracked. "A few months." The words sliced through me like glass. Months. All that time I'd spent laughing with them, trusting them, building a future around them. They'd already been writing a different story behind my back. I staggered back toward the door. "I can't look at either of you right now." "Please, Emma," Lily sobbed, reaching out. "Don't hate me," I recoiled. "You stole the man I loved. If you didn't want me to hate you, you should have thought about that before you touched him." Her face crumpled. "Noah tried one last time. Emma, I love you. You're the one I want." This with Lily, it doesn't mean what you think." I shook my head, tears finally spilling hot down my cheeks. "You don't get to play both sides. Noah, you don't get to keep me while you sneak around with my sister. If you loved me, truly loved me, you wouldn't have risked losing me in the first place." The silence that followed was the loudest sound I'd ever heard. I turned and walked out, my legs trembling, my chest hollow. Behind me, I heard Lily sobbing, Noah calling my name. But I didn't look back. I couldn't. Out in the night air, I finally collapsed against my car, sobbing into my hands. My whole body shook as the weight of it sank in. My sister and my boyfriend, together. 2 betrayals in one. The kind you don't recover from intact. The days after that confrontation blurred together. I went to work. I ate when I remembered. I answered texts with single words. But I wasn't really there. It was like Edie been hollowed out. The silence between me and Lily was deafening. We didn't speak. She tried once knocking on my door, leaving a note slipped under the frame, but I couldn't even open it. I read her words. I'm sorry. I don't know how to fix this. Then I tore the paper in half. Noah sent messages to longer ones. Some were desperate apologies. Others were attempts to explain, as if there could be an explanation that erased what I saw with my own eyes. Eventually, I blocked him. But you can't block your own sister. Not from your blood, not from your memories. My parents found out. Mom was devastated. She said it felt like losing both her daughters at once, one to betrayal, one to grief. Dad was furious, his voice shaking when he called Lily. You don't cross family like this, he said. Not ever. Family gatherings collapsed overnight. Holidays became awkward negotiations. Who would be there? Who wouldn't? My childhood home didn't feel like home anymore. It felt like a battlefield where no one won. I grieved the relationship, but what broke me more was grieving the bond with Lily. I missed her laugh, her knowing glances, the way she always answered my calls on the first ring. For years, she had been my built-in best friend. And now, she was a person who hurt me more deeply than anyone else ever had. One night, I went through old photo albums. There we were 2 little girls in matching pajamas, playing dress-up, blowing out birthday candles side by side. I stared at those pictures until my tears blurred the faces. How do you reconcile that girl with the woman who stole the man you loved? It's been months now. Time dulls the sharpest edges, but the scars remain. I've started therapy, leaning on Sophie and my parents for strength. I'm learning how to breathe again without waiting for another betrayal. Do I forgive Lily? Not yet. Maybe not ever. Forgiveness isn't something you can force. And right now, the wound is still too raw to I miss her. Every single day. That's the cruelest part. Betrayal doesn't erase love, it poisons. As for Noah, he's part of my past now. I don't hate him. I don't love him. He's just a boy who taught me what it feels like to lose everything at once. What I know is this. I survived. I didn't let their betrayal end me. And if I can survive this, I can survive anything. But there's still a question I wrestle with every night before sleep. If you were me, could you ever forgive your own sister for stealing the person you loved most? Or is some betrayal too deep to ever come back from?